Hello, YouTube world. Let's talk about why this was the worst cruise we've ever taken. Ever since I've released the video on MSC Meraviglia, lots of people have come forward and said, this looked like a great cruise. What was wrong with it? And so I'm going to tell you why it was the worst cruise we've ever taken. And you can decide whether or not you're going to try out this line. Of course, I watched tons of videos before I decided to cruise on the MSC Meraviglia, and I saw many videos that said it was a terrible line and a terrible experience. But of course, I tried it anyway, and you're probably going to do the same. But I'm going to give you my 2 cents, and you can decide whether you want to move forward or not. A little background on us. We've been cruising for more than 25 years. We've cruised on all the major lines except Virgin and Disney. And certainly we've seen some decline in the industry, but nothing before have we experienced like MSC. So let's get into it. Let's start with this embarkation process. Okay, embarkation can always be a stressful time before your cruise, but nowhere else have we encountered lines like this. And I think the reason MSC is seeing lines like this is because they've given everyone a check-in time, but they're not checking those check-in times. They're just allowing people to show up whenever they'd like, and they're not having the staff at this terminal process check-in smoothly. Now, some of this is MSC's fault. I provided, before I got on the cruise, a picture for my card, my passport information, my driver's license. It appears that they had none of that on record. Add that to the fact that the staff here is just not moving along, and we get these kind of backups that we're seeing. And yes, it is a large ship. We are boarding 4,500 people on this day. But so is the Carnival celebration. You'll see our video on that upcoming soon. Stay tuned. None of these problems. This is not occurring. They're making people adhere to check-in times. They have a completely different setup for priority boarding passengers. Now, I'm not talking about Yacht Club. Everybody keeps telling me, well, you should try Yacht Club. Why should I try Yacht Club when, if I'm willing to pay Yacht Club prices, I can cruise Holland, Celebrity, even Royal Caribbean or Princess? All of those are a much better experience than MSC across the board. Let me drop in here and show you the line for security on the Carnival Pride that we got on just a couple of weeks earlier. Stay tuned for those videos. That process was seamless and smooth. Once we get here, we had a 4-hour wait. We've only had a 4-hour wait. Well, we didn't even have a 4-hour. We had a 3-hour wait in New Orleans, and we got $100 onboard credit. This 4-hour wait, we heard absolutely nothing from MSC. Other people are saying this is a one-off. This is just 1 week this happened. It's not. If you look at YouTube videos previous weeks and for weeks after our cruise, this kind of backup is lasting every week. And take a look at this schedule for getting off the ship when our cruise ended. 10:30. They have a group meeting at 10:30. This was a normal planned meet, so there's no chance of you ever getting on an MSC ship before 11 o'clock. They're still getting people off the ship at 10:30. This process was just poorly handled. Security was slow. Check-in was slow. Let's talk about the food on MSC. It was just plain and bad. So part of the problem was none of this food seemed to go together. Here's the salad bar on MSC. Now here's the salad bar on a Carnival ship. Just poorly done on MSC. The food never changed on the buffet the entire time we were on the ship. It was the same every day, which some people might like. And I would call it catered barbecue, but it's not even well catered barbecue, really. You had hamburgers, you had hot dogs, you had some meat like chicken and beef, but all the sides that you would expect as an American just didn't exist. And everyone talked about their pasta. Their pasta seemed very plain to me. The cheese was delicious, but they said they had an onboard mozzarella station. We never saw it working, and we never saw anything like a caprese salad or even mozzarella. Maybe that was out of service while we were there. This cheese was amazing, though, the cheese that was there. And you'll be able to find things to eat. You're just not going to be impressed with the food you find. Add to that there were people everywhere. The buffet is just poorly designed. Royal Caribbean. I mean, Carnival doesn't do it as well as Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean does it best, in our opinion. They've spread out the buffet stations all over the buffet, and you never wait in line for anything. I mean, we haven't been on their giant ships. We've only been on their mid-sized and their smaller ships, but they do this really well. And everyone does it better than MSC. Spread people out. Don't make people wait in line for everything. Now, the dining on MSC. There are only two options that are free on MSC. Buffet and main dining room. And some people have said to me, well, that's normal. No, it's not. Look at this list of free places to eat when you're on the Carnival Celebration. Celebration and MSC Meraviglia are about the same size cruise ship. If Carnival can do it, MSC can certainly do it. But every single venue on the MSC Meraviglia is going to cost you extra to eat, except for the buffet and the main dining room. And you're going to find that the food's not great there either. So the MSC Meraviglia is gorgeous. It is a beautiful ship. You can't fault them in any way for ship presentation or design. But you are going to pay extra for every single thing you do on this ship. You're not going to see a lot of activity happening on the ship as far as trivia and games that the fun staff would normally do, say like on a Carnival ship. So there's not a lot to do that you're not paying for. There is a lot to do on the ship. There's arcades and bowling alleys and lots to experience, but it is all for a fee. So once you get on MSC ship, you're going to be paying a lot more extra than you would, say, on a Carnival ship. Now, of course, a lot of options are available on a Carnival ship to spend money on if you wanted to. But there are options to not spend any money, and that is sorely lacking on an MSC ship. The entirety of our cruise, we saw the fun staff at the sail away party, which was lackluster, and we saw the cruise director at the main show the first night. We did not see cruise director or fun staff for the rest of our cruise. Now, maybe that was just coincidence. Maybe we just didn't run into them, but you could see the video I shot. We're all over. We have never had a cruise where we didn't run into them at least a few times. They just didn't appear to be doing things on the MSC Meraviglia. So then we get to dinner, and another line, a 45-minute line to get into this restaurant. Why? We're second seating. First seating was 5:30. Maybe they're still there. Maybe my seat's still being used. But how would they know that? They never checked me in. They never talked to me. They don't even know that I'm in that line. So why did we wait 45 minutes to seat? No idea. Then you get to the menu. The menu is very abbreviated compared to other cruise ships. I know a lot of people are cutting back right now, but there was even less to eat on the Meraviglia. And when it was delivered, it just wasn't cooked well. It didn't have any seasoning, which is a common complaint on a lot of cruise ships. But look at this blackened grouper. That was ridiculous. That's not blackened grouper. It's grouper. So the food in the main dining room was not great. Then we decide we don't want to eat in the main dining room. It's not good. We're willing to pay for a specialty restaurant. We call. There are no specialty restaurants available to eat at. They did have an opening for the sushi restaurant at 9:30, so I can't say nothing. The dining room and the buffet is lackluster, so people are flocking to these paid restaurants, so you need to book that ahead of time if you're going to be on the ship and you think you might want to try one. Entertainment. The free entertainment on the MSC ship was not good. But can I say it's better than Carnival or worse than Carnival, say, for comparison? No, on the older Carnival ships, their entertainment's not great either. But it was at least longer. The free show on MSC Meraviglia was 35 minutes. That was it. And they were plugging the paid show really hard, which wasn't terribly expensive, $18, and it included a free drink. And everyone who I spoke to said that it was a good show. I haven't experienced it, so I don't know. But there's lots of free entertainment on, say, a Carnival ship in the evening. You've got your comedy show, you've got your stage show, you've got something often like a love and marriage show or quest. None of that was occurring on MSC. They had the stage show, they had a silent disco, they had nothing else for free that evening. So, they definitely lose out in the entertainment. Then they have the silent disco, and it is right next to a very loud live band. You put your headphones on, you can't even hear what's playing in those headphones. Just lack of coordination, lack of someone at MSC to say, hey, this is the way this should work. Pay attention, do it right. That is the overall tone of an MSC cruise. I have to give MSC credit here. They had for sale many, many things that Carnival is lacking. I could actually replace my wardrobe here if my luggage was lost before I got on the cruise ship. Carnival needs to step up their game and have something on the ship that you could buy that would allow you to go to dinner if you lost your luggage. So I got to give MSC credit here. Now it's time to get off the ship, and guess what? Another crazy long line. But we stand in it. We understand that. It's certainly not the only line we've stood in to get off a cruise ship. And then when we get off the cruise ship, all of the credit card machines are broken to get out of the parking lot. We sit there for 3 hours. Now, a lot of people say that's not MSC's fault, but they need to fix it. This doesn't happen at Terminal 3. This doesn't happen at Terminal 1. They need to fix this problem. Finally, they did get someone. They actually brought people in, and they allowed people to leave the parking lot, and we all went home. This was not the only week this happened. The next cruise and the cruise after that, people waited in the parking lot for several hours. Look it up on YouTube. You'll see people standing up top, out of their cars, just watching the line because it's not moving at all. MSC has to fix these problems. This is not a relaxing cruise. This is not a vacation. This is a cruise where I honestly would have rather stayed home. And I could never say that. I could never say that about any other cruise prior to this one. I had such high hopes for MSC. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had gotten off a Carnival cruise. I wasn't very happy with the experience on Carnival because I feel like it has become less of an experience than it was, say, 5 or 10 years ago. But man, was I to be shocked by how nice a Carnival cruise was compared to MSC. Give them a try if you'd like. Just like me, I watched bad cruise reviews. I still got on it out. Maybe you'll have a better experience than me. Maybe you have a higher tolerance than me for standing in lines for every single thing you do and paying extra for everything you do on the ship. I just don't. Maybe I've cruised too long. Maybe I've become too jaded. It was a beautiful ship. I hope you have a good time on it. Stay tuned for my videos on the Carnival Pride and the Carnival Celebration.